Hi, and welcome to another practice today. Welcome to the channel. Today is a spin on tree pose. So we are going to do several variations of trees throughout this practice. And I really think even deeper than that, this sequence will play a lot into grounding and also balance. So yeah, we're going to be doing some single leg poses. And at the end, if we want to, we'll make it a little bit stronger. If you want to try an arm balance, we can also do that too, or not. It's always an option. So let's start at the top of our mat, standing in mountain pose. Feet are about hip width apart. Allow the legs to relax, just a small bend in the knees, and the arms are alongside your body. Palms are facing forward with the fingertips just gently curling in. We're just relaxing here in our mountain pose, and maybe you start to allow the eyes to close. We'll begin to internalize the sensations and feel how our body is today. Maybe you feel yourself just naturally sway in this mountain pose. Maybe intentionally shift the weight from one side to the other. Notice how that feels. Maybe slightly lean forward or back. If you had those sways, start to allow yourself to come to stillness and focus that attention onto the breath. As we start to notice the inhale and the exhale of the breath, use that throughout the practice today to focus and to find your balance, both physically and mentally. When you're ready, you can start to open the eyes. And we're going to just begin with some neck rolls and start to warm up the spine. So let's tuck the chin to the chest. As we bow the head, just allow the shoulders to relax down the back. And from here, let's start to roll that left shoulder or the left ear over towards the left shoulder. Inhale, and then on an exhale, we'll slowly, at your own pace, start to roll back down, just some half neck circles here. And then we'll come up onto the other side, bringing the right ear over towards the right shoulder. Inhale with that upward motion, and then exhale, release it back down. Again, moving at your own pace, maybe pausing at any little sticky spots. Moving with intention in these neck rolls, always a good one to take with you off the mat throughout the day. But just nice and slowly. We'll end on the right shoulder and then come back through center with the chin tucked. And then slowly lift the head back up to neutral. From here, take the hands behind you, clasp the fingertips, and then draw the knuckles down as you lift up with the chest. Maybe gaze up towards the sky. Feel the shoulder blades pinch together, almost like you're trying to hold a pencil in between the shoulders. Still keep that tailbone slightly tucked so that the core is still engaged. Lifting up. And we'll start to release. Keep the hands clasped though as you bring the head back towards neutral. And I'll just turn to face you. From here, we'll bend that left elbow and take the knuckles over towards the right hip. So we're just settled in this kind of a bind on the right hip. And then from here, we'll take the head and just lean over towards the right shoulder. Deep inhale, and then exhale, release it all out. Feel the muscles along the side of the neck start to relax. One more deep breath in. Exhale, relax. Come back up through center, and we'll take the knuckles over towards the left hip, this time leaning the head towards the left shoulder. Inhale in. Exhale, release the shoulders down the back. Feel the right side of the neck start to stretch. One more inhale. Exhale it out. From here, we'll start to take some spinal roll downs. So beginning with the head, start to tuck the chin in towards the chest. Allow the arms to hang down by the side as you feel that curl just very, very slowly rolling down through the middle of the back. And then allow the shoulders to drop, the head feel heavy. Keep the knees bent here as we get a little further in our forward fold. And allow them to stay heavy until you're all the way in your Uttanasana, your forward fold. Hands can touch the floor, or you can take a hold of the elbows. Take some very deep inhales here, and then on every exhale, maybe feel yourself feeling towards the floor just a little bit more. Allow the weight to come more forward, so you're a little bit more onto the balls of the feet. If you had a clasp of the elbows, again, we'll just release the arms and then keep the knees very deeply bent. And we're going to start to roll back up, but this time we're going to come to a half lift. So straightening out the back, fingertips touching onto the mat. And then take the hands towards the hips. And then from there, let's tuck the tailbone. And we'll slowly start to roll back up to standing. Feel the feet firmly press down into the mat. And we'll end with the neck until we come all the way up towards the head and the crown of the head reaches tall. Very good. We'll take that one more time. Start to roll down very slowly. Again, stretching out through the back of the neck. You can allow the arms to release as we roll down towards the mat, maybe keeping the knees bent. If you'd like to keep them deeply bent again, go ahead. Or if you'd like to make them a little bit straighter, wherever you're at this morning or afternoon. In your forward fold, let's take a little inhale, and we'll lift up just slightly, and then on an exhale, release. Maybe deepening into that forward fold, feeling the chest compress against the upper thigh, perhaps straightening the knees a little bit more, or grabbing the back of the ankles to pull yourself inward. Wherever you're at, release the hands. Fingertips can touch the mat. We'll come back up into that halfway lift. Hands come to the hips. Start to tuck the tailbone as we round the back. Leading up to standing, ending again, neck and then head lifts tall and up to the sky until you're back in your mountain pose. Now again, I'm going to face the camera just to explain this next part. We're going to take breath of joy, which is a very invigorating pranayama, especially to start the practice or your day. It definitely wake you up and just fill the body with energy. It's a 3-part inhale followed by 1 full exhale. So each breath has 4 parts, 3 inhales and 1 exhale. And the inhales, on the first part, you'll start to fill up the lower portion of the belly. On the second part, you'll fill up a little bit further. And on the third inhale, you'll feel the chest fully filled up with air. And then on an exhale, we'll release it all out. Now the exhale, you can do it through your nose or also through your mouth. I enjoy having my exhale fully released through my mouth. It just works out better for me. On top of that, we also will activate the whole body with this breath by moving the arms and then bending the legs at the end. And I'll show you that. So the 3-part inhale, the arms come up front in front of you, and then out to the side, and then all the way up to the sky. And then on the exhale, we bend the knees deeply, allow the arms and the torso to fall as we exhale. So it will go something like this. So we will start that. Go ahead, you can stand facing the top of your mat or come to the side if you want to be in the position that I am. This is mostly just so you can see me through the practice. We'll take a few breaths here. If you do start to get dizzy, take it a little more slowly, or else just pause in your practice and come back to mountain. So on an inhale. In, up, down, up, out, up, down, up, out, up, down. We'll take one more. And on the exhale, and on the next inhale, we'll rise up towards mountain, ground through the feet, and then draw the hands through heart center. Very good. You can join me at the top of your mat, and from here, we'll take a few ankle rolls. So shift your weight over towards the left side, and you might feel that your heart rate is already activated. And I feel like I'm already a little out of breath, but my heart is pounding and I'm already ready to get going here in the practice. So now shifting the weight into the left foot, we'll take some ankle rolls. You can take a hold of the right shin with your hands, and we'll just start to rotate that right foot, moving the ankle. You can take it counterclockwise and then make sure to reverse the position. Very good. We'll slowly release the right leg. Do the same thing on the opposite side, shifting over onto the right foot, taking a hold of that left shin, and we'll just rotate the ankles out here. Noticing how those feet feel are very support as we move through these balancing postures today. Allow the left foot to drop down towards the earth, and we'll do a little variation on our spinal roll downs. Let's inhale the arms up towards the sky, slight back bend, and from here swan dive the arms down as we keep the back straight, starting to tilt the tailbone, and then we'll allow ourselves to drop and do a forward fold. From forward fold, come up through a halfway lift, reverse swan dive as you take the arms up, come up to mountain, and from here, come onto the tiptoes. Rise up as high as you can. We'll take that once more. Swan dive down. Allow the heels to come towards the earth as we tilt the tailbone, keep the chest and the torso straight, and then start to roll down into our forward fold. From forward fold, halfway lift, fingertips are on the mat just for a moment until we reverse swan dive, come back up to our mountain and all the way up onto our tiptoes. From our tippy toes, we'll release the heels down, swan dive. Back is flat and the spine is long. Release it down, head is heavy. Inhale, halfway lift. Start to reverse swan dive, coming all the way up into mountain. And from here, We'll stay up on our tiptoes, draw the hands down through heart center, and then slowly, very slowly, come down into a toe stand. So staying up on the toes and just balancing here. You can use your hands on the mat, or you can also have them on blocks to stay balanced. Take one more inhale, and then on an exhale, we will take the hands either towards the mat if you want to use that for balance, or start to wrap the hands around the legs. Start to tuck yourself into a ball, still balancing on the toes. Very good. Whenever you're ready, we can allow the heels to come down towards the earth, and we'll push ourselves up towards standing. Inhale up to mountain and draw the hands down through heart center. Very good. We'll start with a couple of Surya namaskar Bs. Inhaling the arms up to the sky, draw the hands down through heart center. Exhale. And then on our next inhale, we'll lift the arms up as we sink the hips back for our chair pose. On an exhale, forward fold, bending from the hips, head is heavy. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step the feet back towards your plank pose. From plank, you can come to your knees or shift forward, staying up high, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. On an exhale, come into your downward facing dog. In your downward facing dog, we'll inhale the right leg up towards the sky, bring it through. For your warrior one, on the right. Exhale, hands down towards the mat, stepping it back, chaturanga lower. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale the left foot up towards the sky, and then inhale it through. In one motion, come to your warrior on the left side. Then exhale, lower the hands towards the mat, stepping it back, lowering in your chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, push back, downward facing dog. On an inhale, you can step up in between the hands, halfway lift, and then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we'll sink the hips back. Lift the arms up alongside the ears for your chair pose. Exhale, power through the legs. Lift up as you lift the chest. And then bring the hands down through heart center for your mountain pose. Next, we'll inhale the arms up. Start to take that right foot. We'll shift the weight over towards the left and take a big step back until you're in your high lunge. From high lunge, we'll lower down, taking the right arm to the mat, and then windmill the left arm up towards the sky for easy twist. Pause here in the easy twist. Feel the middle portion of the back expand with every inhale. And when you exhale, maybe you find a little more space. Maybe your chest can reach towards the sky a little more. From your easy twist, we're going to come into our side plank. So coming with the left foot stacked on top of the right, leaving the left arm lifted. Keep the hips lifted to engage the lower side of the obliques, and also to feel those ribs lifting underneath you. Now, we are taking some tree variations, so of course we're going to try tree pose in our side plank. Remember, there's a couple of mistakes usually made when we take tree pose in side plank. Usually the hips want to fall, or you may accidentally take the foot and place it on the top of the knee joint. We either want to be on the inner thigh or have your foot on the lower shin on the right leg. From your tree pose in plank, we're going to try to shift that left foot up towards the top of the mat to the outside, and then keep the left hand lifted. So if you're able to take that with me, that's perfect. So you're in a low lunge. And then if you had to put the left arm down, go ahead and lift it here. So we're in a low lunge, feeling the hips heavy, but it's just supported by that right arm. Start to shift the weight into that left foot, maybe shift the torso forward as you come onto the right toes, and then step that right foot up to the inside of the right hand. And we're going to come into this squatting position and open both of the arms out, kind of like airplane arms. So the hips are low and the chest is just resting gently on top of the thighs. From here, it's an easy transition to take the arms up and alongside the ears, and we're in our chair pose. From chair, let's power up through the legs. Inhale as we lift the chest, and then draw the arms and hands down through heart center in your mountain pose. We'll take that all on the left side. This time, let's inhale the arms up, and then step that left foot back as far as you can take it, and you're in your high lunge on the opposite side. Drop the left arm down, leave the right arm lifted towards the sky. Start to twist as we come into our easy twist or our revolved low lunge. Take an inhale here, expand, and then exhale, maybe twist a little deeper. Make sure that you stay active through that back leg. Feel the back thigh engage to keep the back leg as straight as possible. From here, ground through that left hand. Start to roll onto the side of the left foot, and we'll come into our side plank on the left side. Watch those hips so that they don't drop. And maybe if you would like to take that tree balance, it's always optional. Start to draw the right foot in and then bring it to the inner thigh or towards the shin. Holding here, stay lifted. And this time, if you can keep the right arm lifted, we'll start to slowly draw the right foot up towards the top of the mat. As we come into that variation on a low lunge, so the right arm is still out, the chest is down, and we're facing towards the front of the room. And then from here, start to shift forward in the torso. Allow the weight to plant into the right foot as we push off and draw the left foot up towards the top of the mat. Back with those airplane arms. Lowering into this low squatting position. And then from here, let's inhale the arms up alongside the ears. I'm sure the quads are starting to feel this as we take our chair pose. When you're ready, let's push into those feet. Stand tall for mountain, and then draw the hands down through heart center. Very good. We'll take one more Surya namaskar beat. So inhale the arms up, exhale them down through heart center. Inhale back through that chair pose that we love. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step it back to plank. Chaturanga lower, bending the elbows. Coming up through upward dog. Exhale to your downward facing dog. Inhale, come up into your warrior one on the right side. Exhale, plank. Take a vinyasa. Push back to your downward facing dog. Inhale that foot into a warrior on the left side, lifting the torso, and then exhale. We'll vinyasa once more. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale to your downward dog. From your downward dog, step it up. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come through chair pose. Exhale, press through the legs, coming to mountain. And then you can inhale, hands through heart center. Pause here, take a nice inhale, expand, and exhale, release it out through the mouth. When you're ready, we'll come into tree pose. So start to shift the weight over into the left leg. Feel through all four corners of that left foot. And then draw the right foot up and in as you press it in towards the inner left thigh. From here, you can keep the hands at heart center. And we'll pause in our tree pose to feel the grounding and strength through that standing leg. Keep the right knee pushing outward and open. It may not be completely open at a 90-degree angle, and if that is not available for most of us, we're just looking for the direction of pushing the knee outward and towards the right. At the same time, keep the ribs knitted inward so that we're strong in the core and we're not allowing the belly to start to open. We'll stay balancing on that left leg as we draw the right knee in towards center. And then you can take that right shin and just give it a squeeze as you draw it in towards the body. From here, take the left hand, wrap it around that right shin, and then start to open up towards the right, lengthening out that right arm, maybe gazing towards the back of the room. On the next exhale, let's start to face the front of the room, keeping the right knee lifted. Lift the arms up towards the sky, and we'll start to lower the torso as we come into our warrior three. So keeping the arms lifted, expanding that right foot out behind you, feeling the hips stay square, and the right toes facing down. From your warrior three, we're going to make it an even bigger challenge by drawing the hands behind us, interlacing the fingers, pulling the knuckles back, and then coming into a toppling tree. Point those right toes. Start to angle your warrior three down as the torso drops, lifting the right leg up higher now, feeling the arms lift higher. Balancing on that left foot. Start to slowly release the hands and then place them on the mat in front of you so that we come into a standing split position. So the hands are in front of you and then dropping the torso, lifting the right leg up even higher. Engage that back thigh, maybe taking a hold of the left ankle and pulling yourself inward. So good. Let's release that right foot towards the mat as we come into a deep step here into a low lunge. Lifting up in our high lunge. And this time, angle that torso again at about a 45-degree angle. And then step that right foot in. We're back in our favorite chair pose. Now in our chair pose, draw the hands through heart center. And we're going to go ahead and take that left hand down towards the mat. And then straighten the right leg, opening up as we face or turn our head up towards the sky to look for our right fingertips. So the right leg is straight, the left knee is bent, twisting it out. Very good. From here, draw that right hand down. We'll bend the right knee, lifting the left hand, and we'll take a twist over onto the left side. From here, we'll take both of the hands towards the mat, straighten the legs, exhale, forward fold. On an inhale, come into a halfway lift, and then take the hands towards the hips as you tuck the tailbone. Start to lift up towards your mountain pose. Shift the weight towards the left foot, and then draw the right ankle over the top of the left thigh, and sink the hips back towards our standing figure four position. Hands can come to prayer. Now this is where we can take that arm balance that I was talking about earlier. I'm just going to step back a little further on my mat. Either stay in your standing figure four on the left side, or you can bend even more deeply, and take the hands towards the mat. Now, the index finger or maybe the middle finger is facing towards the top of the mat, and then start to shift forward as you bend the elbows and make a little shelf. We'll come into a one-legged crow. You can try this, maybe even just putting some weight onto the back of the elbows, or if you'd like to play, take that shelf, wrap the toes around the left upper arm, and maybe lift the back foot off of the mat. Doesn't need to come very high. And then you could slowly lower the foot whenever you're ready. If you're in standing figure four, allow yourself to bend and come fully into a forward fold. So balancing on one leg, the head drops heavy, but now we're just in a single-legged forward fold. We'll start to lift up, still balancing on that one leg until we come to standing. Hand to heart center. Release the right foot down. Very good. Adjust your position if you need to. I'm going to come a little bit further towards the top of my mat. Take an inhale, lift the arms up, and then exhale the hands down through heart center. From here, we'll take that over onto the right side. Let's shift the weight over towards the right foot. Draw the left foot in to that inner right thigh for your tree pose. Check your alignment. Feel your right leg strong and grounded into the mat. The left knee is pushing open. Hands to heart center, or you can take them up and open if you like. Either way is fine. Find your drishti and hold in your tree pose. Shoulders are relaxed. When you're ready, release that left foot. Draw that shin in towards the torso. Give it a nice hug. And then we'll take the right hand, wrap it around the front of the left shin, and then opening up and looking back at your left fingertips. On every exhale, maybe you open up a little wider. On your next inhale, slowly come forward. Keep that left knee lifted. Release the arms and bring them up alongside the ears. We'll start to bend into that right knee as we shift the torso down, and then lift that left leg back for our warrior three. I feel like I'm coming out of frame, so I am going to step back just a little bit. You could stay right where you're at. Hips are square. Now we'll take that balance challenge in our warrior three. Draw the hands behind the back, clasp the fingertips. Draw the shoulders back, lifting the hands. Start to point those left toes, and then shift the torso down for our toppling tree. So you're lifting the back leg, lifting the arms, balancing through that right leg. Slowly release the hands, allow them to come to the mat in front of you, and then release the head down for your standing splits on the right leg. Maybe draw yourself in a little bit more, grab the back of the right ankle, whatever you need to be. I'm really tight on this side today. From your standing splits, let's take a big step back with that left foot. as we come into our low lunge, and then press up to our high lunge. Very good. From the high lunge, we'll angle the torso at about a 45-degree angle here, and then press into that right foot, step up, and then sink back into your chair pose. Nice deep inhale here as we hold, staying strong through the lower body. And then exhale. Let's come to a forward fold. We'll take those twists once more. Let's straighten the right leg, bending the left knee, left hand towards the mat. Right arm spirals up as you gaze up towards the sky. Inhale here. Exhale, open a little further. On the next inhale, draw the right arm. The hand goes towards the mat. The right knee bends. As you exhale, the left arm up towards the sky. On the next inhale, we'll close it up. Take that left hand towards the earth, and then forward fold. From your forward fold, we'll come to a halfway lift, fingertips touching the mat. Draw the hands towards the hips. Start to tuck the tailbone. Roll yourself up until you come to a standing position. You can draw the arms up towards the sky, stretch it out, and bring the hands through heart center. We'll take that figure 4 into a one-legged crow balance. So from here, shift the weight towards the right leg. Draw the left foot over the top of the right thigh and start to sink the hips back. Hands can stay in prayer. And you can stay right here, feeling that stretch throughout the outside of the left hip. If you want to play in your single-legged crow, start to deepen that bend at the hips. Reach for the mat. Find your hand position and start to make that shelf. You may need to adjust your position of your foot. Find the distance that you need to create that little bend in the elbows. Start to spiral the forearms and the upper arms outward so that you bring the elbows in. And then use your fingertips as brakes as you lift the torso a little bit more forward. Create the shelf on the elbows and maybe lift that back foot up off of the mat. Wherever you're at, slowly release. If you're in your stand or your figure 4, we're going to all take a forward fold at this time, bending from the hips, still balancing on one leg, allowing the head and neck to drop. On the next inhale, let's power through that right standing foot. Still balancing. Allow ourselves to come up to standing. And then release that left foot down towards the mat. Very good. Shake it out if you need to. From here, inhale the arms up. And we'll exhale, sinking it back into a chair pose. Now we aren't going to stay here long. We're just going to cycle out that lower body. Inhale up to mountain. Exhale out to chair. Inhale up and rise. Exhale out to chair. Just flushing it out a little bit. Inhale up to mountain. And then exhale, hands through heart center. Very good. Now again, working into the tiptoes. Let's lift the arms up towards the sky, rise. Come up onto the tiptoes. And then on exhale, bring the hands down towards your side. Allow the heels to kiss the mat. Inhale up onto the toes. Exhale it down. Working into those ankles and the calves some more. Using your breath. Exhale it down. Inhale up. Exhale it down. On the next inhale, we'll rise up and we'll stay up on the tiptoes. Allow the arms to come down to shoulder level, palms facing down. Start to bend the knees like we're coming through a variation on our chair pose. Bend slowly as you can. We're lowering down into a toe stand, just very, very slowly. Very good. Wherever you're at, you can use the hands onto the mat, or if you can land the knees onto the mat without any assistance, you could try that as well. Now, just staying up with the toes tucked underneath you, we're going to stay in this hero pose for about 30 seconds. This toe stretch is pretty intense, so feel free to come out of it. You can also come a little bit more forward and allow some of the weight to come off of the toes. Wherever you're at, we'll just pause here. Again, realign yourself, focus on the breath to bring your thoughts back in. This is possibly one of the hardest postures for me to maintain. My one foot has no problem with it, but the other one just absolutely cannot take this posture. So a 30-second pose is all we're going to do. Whenever you're ready, start to shift your weight forward. You can take the hands onto the mat, untuck those toes, give them a little tap on the mat, allow the blood to flow through them. And then when you're ready, sit back on the feet once more. So now we're sitting on the tops of the feet in our hero pose. And we'll stretch out the tops of the feet as well. Start to walk the hands back, shift the weight back. Maybe lift the knees up off of the mat to stretch into the top of the feet a little further. So this is a wonderful stretch right here. We can always modify it by also making it a strengthening pose and maybe balancing just on the top of the feet and holding the top of the legs. More of a challenge wherever you're at. We are winding down, so you don't need to take this modification. Start to allow the knees to come back towards the mat. And from here, if your hands were in front of you, let's take them back behind your hips once more and then lift the hips up. We'll stretch out into the front of the thigh. Maybe open up the knees a little bit wider to make some space. Tucking the tailbone, lifting up, almost like a modified bridge pose. Release the hips back down. From here, we'll come up to kneeling. And just take a small back bend with a modified camel. Hands can come to the lower back, fingertips facing down. Lift the chest as you start to open and allow the chest to lift up towards the sky. The shoulder blades are drawing down. And you can allow the neck to release just as long as your neck feels protected and that you're not straining. On the next inhale, slowly come up. We'll sit the hips back, open up the knees a little bit more widely. We'll just take child pose for one breath. And on your next inhale, we'll snake ourselves up onto our bellies. Bring the legs back behind you and come into Sphinx. The feet come wide. The elbows are just in front of the torso. And then the forearms are parallel to the long sides of the mat. From here, feel the hands press down into the mat and then start to pull them towards your body. So we're not moving, but we're feeling that action of pulling the arms towards the body. And that causes a little reaction in our upper body as the chest lifts a little bit more. Feel the sternum lift towards the sky. Release there, and we'll take a half frog. So in our half frog, I'll start on my left side so you can see a little bit better. Take the right forearm and take that at about a 45-degree angle, so it's kind of like a little balancing kickstand. Draw that left foot in, reach back behind you, and we're just going to bend that left leg in. Maybe spinning your fingers around if you can catch a hold of the foot and get a little deeper, and pressing that foot down towards the mat. As you do so, press the left knee into the earth as well, and you'll feel the thigh engage from hip all the way down towards the knee. On the next inhale, release that left foot. We'll do the same thing on the right side. So use your left arm as a kickstand. Start to bend that right foot in, reach around, grab a hold of it, and then as far as you can go. Maybe it's not very far. Maybe your quads are really tight today. Connecting with the earth with that right thigh. At the same time, feeling that downward push of the hand and the foot. Slowly release that right foot. And from here, take the hands underneath the shoulders. Push back. We'll come back into the wide-legged child's pose. And from here is where we will begin our Shavasana. If you would prefer the more traditional Shavasana on your back, go ahead and take that at this time. Remember, any yoga practice is your practice. So if you find that there is some version of a asana that you prefer in your body or that you need today, let's take that. Even in your child's pose, you can have your arms in front of you or they can be alongside the body, whatever feels good today. We're just coming back. Starting to move from that practice, from our controlled breath into our normal breathing. Notice if you're holding on to anything here in your child's pose or your Shavasana. Use this time to send that breath and to deepen a little further. Allow yourself this time to release and to fully absorb the efforts in your practice. If you're in your child's pose, feel the hips stay heavy. And notice that connection of the third eye to the mat. Maybe rock the head back and forth slightly, massaging that third eye area. If you're in Shavasana and your eyes are closed, maybe gaze up towards your third eye in between the brows. Find that internal focus. And even if you're on your back in Shavasana, you also could start to massage the back of the head. And we'll start to maybe wiggle the fingers, tapping them on the mat. Feel the toes start to move.
If you're in child's pose, maybe feel yourself start to sway from side to side to wake up the body. And maybe slowly start to push with the forearms and start to rise the body up until you come to a seated position. Either legs crossed, or you could stay on your shins in hero's pose. Whatever is comfortable for you. We'll take one more inhale up towards the sky. Exhale as we close out our practice. Tuck the chin, draw the hands into heart center. Thank you as always for joining me for this practice. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and leave a comment below, or if you have any suggestions for things that you would like to see in class, I am happy to take them. As always, have an amazing day. Bye now.